same now. So when we see the yellow kasina, for example, when we see the yellow kasina, now, okay. Okay. So go back to previous lesson. All right. Now, when you see the kasina, any of the kasina, first you use your eyes to look at it. So after that, when you close your eyes, you should recall the same image in your mind. So some of you say, instead of seeing yellow, you see black color. Do you know why? Because you are not recalling the image. You are actually, when you close your eyes, you are still using your eye to recall. That's wrong. You don't use your eye to recall. You should use the mind to recall. Now you see this yellow color, all right? So you look at it, and after you close your eye, you should recall the same yellow image in your as it should appear in your mind. Right? Another way is you all should recite. Because when you recite, you look at it, you recite as yellow, 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 yellow. So when you close your eyes, the moment you start to recite yellow, 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 it will link with the previous image you see with your physical eyes. Okay, try now. Okay, so look at it and recite yellow, 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 yellow. Okay, now close your eyes and recite yellow by yourself. Okay. So when you recite yellow, when you close your eyes, your recitation of yellow should remind you of the yellow color you saw with your physical eye. So if you see black color, it's not that you are recalling with your mind. You are actually trying to see with your physical eyes. Okay. Now, all right. So I mentioned just now, either you cut a piece of paper or cloth, or to make any of the color, or you use any physical things like flowers. Okay, so at first when you put the colors together, the flower together, of course you will see the petals and so on. So this is considered fault. Okay, all this yellow. But if you have good karma, you practice before, the moment you see yellow flower, you get yellow image kasina in your mind. Okay, or white color or red color. So if you practice before, I say, I always say like this. Okay, now we already finished here. So we had 10 kasina. So earth, water, fire, wind, blue, yellow, red, white, color kasina, space, and light. Right? So in future, when we finish the 40 kasina, so the next assignment will be you need to write about your own temperament and choose which type of method amongst the 40 types. You choose one of the, including the kasina, because I want you all to choose also one kasina for your assignment, but not now. When we finish the 40 types all, then we can talk about this. All right, so any question?
Teacher.
Yes.
If you say you recall from the mind, what happens if you cannot recall from the mind? How does it?
If you cannot recall your mind, you need to open your eyes again, look at the yellow kasina, look at it again, familiarize yourself with it. After that, close the eyes again and try to recall again. All right?
If you cannot, you keep on doing it.
Yes, we need to look on, like when you practice the breathing meditation, you need to focus or try to practice for some time. Also the kasina. Kasina actually is even, you can say even easy. Your mind just need to take one object only. For some people who have a good karma, so when they practice this kasina, is actually easy for them. Right? But for some people they think it's too difficult, right? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we are going for
Saya G.
Yes.
Sayagyi, is it
Yes, yes.
possible to do kasina meditation for lay people?
Well, it's no harm since it's actually in some of the sutta also mentioned about kasina, right? Some of the sutta also mention kasina. So you can practice if you want. But let's say if you do not have enough time, so either you practice the four great elements or breathing meditation, which is I think is faster or better because breathing meditation can be practiced as a samatha or vipassana.
Sayagyi, Sayagyi.
Thank you,
Right.
Sayagyi.
Yes.
Sayagyi, how long to practice to look at the yellow color, the circle?
It depends on you. Depends on you. As long as you can, you open your eyes, you look at it. When you close your eye, you can still recall it. Then you just focus on the image in your eyes, in your mind. Focus on the image in your mind until it become, until you get the excess concentration, until it become very bright and very clear. Very bright. It should turn to be very bright and very stable image. Now, when you see it's still shakeable, right? So when you see in your mind, it's always shakeable, moving around. So because your concentration is shakeable. So once your concentration, effort, mindfulness is calm, so when you see in your mind, the image should be very calm and stable. That's the best one.
Okay, thank you, Sayagyi.
Sayagyi,
Yes.
Sayagyi, may I check what is the difference between kasina and nimitta?
Kasina is the object. Nimitta is the stage in the mind. Okay, but nimitta, as we say, there are three kinds. The first one, parikamma nimitta, is the one same with the object. Okay, let me show. I'm supposed to show this one. Okay, so go for back to the knot. All right. So we have three types. This is a nimitta. All right. Do you see this? All right.
Yes.
So the first one is something that we do, like the earth kasina, the physical earth. So second one, nimitta. What is nimitta? Nimitta is the mental state, but normally we call it sign. Sign means it's actually the object grasped by the mind, right? So it's an image seen by the mind. Like you see the yellow color. Now when you close your eye, you also see the yellow color. Okay, and the best one should be vipubbakaṃ nimitta, the counterpart sign, where the image is very clear, very bright, and then without the hindrances. So we all should practice from the first one to second one to the third one. That's the best. All right.
Thank you, Sayagyi.
Okay. Any other last question before we go for asubha? All right. Okay. Now, 10 kasina. After 10 kasina is also there's a 10 types of asubha. All right. So normally asubha refer to actually when we talk about asubha, external asubha means corpse because we are looking at the corpse of other people. Internal asubha means your own 32 body parts. Okay. For this, I want to show you one of the video about asubha. So there's a share of sound. Okay. Okay.
Last month I visited.
You hear the sound, right? Okay. All right.
A body farm in Texas. So these are places where researchers take recently deceased human bodies and they essentially just leave them out to decompose. So this research, mainly it's helpful when law enforcement come across a body under mysterious circumstances, maybe a murder, and they want to know how long has it been out here. The bodies are scattered all over the field. They have about 50 out, and most of them are under these metal cages that prevent the vultures from getting in. I kept asking him to lift up the cages for me to get better photos. So what happens right after you die is all the fluids that are inside your cells when you're alive leak out, and bacteria start feeding immediately. And they're converting the liquids and solids inside you into gases that they emit. And this causes the second stage, which is bloat. You also have something called marbling during the stage because one of the gases, sulfur, it binds to the hemoglobin molecules in your blood and changes the color of them to an orange or yellow. And at the same time, flies come. They come almost immediately when the body's placed and they lay eggs. And they especially lay them in any orifices, so your head will get a lot of maggots on it, the eye sockets and mouth and nose, and they'll eat away at that first. They're absolutely just crawling over the body, like getting up really close to it and taking photos was the most intense thing I did there. Then after a few days of that, the body moves to the third stage, which is called purge, and that's ultimately the bloating is relieved as a lot of the gas and fluids leak out, and you see this dark fluid pooling around the body. And the interesting thing is that fluid, it's really nutrient rich, but it's so rich in nitrogen that it kills off the plants initially. But a year later, it'll become especially fertile. So here, this is the next stage. A lot of the changes happen really rapidly at first, and then it slows down a lot. There's certainly still bacteria here, but if you were to graph all the nutrients, it's a very sharp decline. If the body's in the sun, especially in Texas, the heat is so strong that a lot of bacteria and insects can't actually survive. And so instead of continuing to decompose the body, it'll really gradually mummify. It'll just dry up. But if the body's in the shade, then the bacteria and insects can continue to feed on it, and they'll essentially eat it down to a skeleton. With the vultures, the process is completely different because a flock of them will just swarm a body immediately if it's left uncaged. And they can eat pretty much all the flesh off within a few hours. One thing that really fascinated me is the way the bones are frayed, and that's from their beaks ripping at it voraciously. And that looks like leather or clothing, but it's skin. Typically they're left out to decompose for 6 to 12 months. So when the bodies come in, they'll boil them and they put detergent on them, and that strips away most of the remaining flesh. And then volunteer undergraduate interns will clean every single bone with a toothbrush. The smell was actually the strongest inside that lab. It smells like rotting meat, which is essentially what it is. You know, just organic substances that have gone bad. And then after they get cleaned, they get laid back out, they get labeled, and then they get sent to the lab closer into town where they get boxed up. And so this basically serves as a contemporary skeleton collection, which there aren't that many of, as it turns out. We really seldom see bodies anymore in our modern culture. Most people die in a hospital. They get directly sent to a funeral home. That funeral home injects them with formaldehyde and puts makeup all over them so they don't look like a dead body. But the truth is that ultimately, whether we see it or not, this happens. Unless you get cremated, it's going to happen to you. I mean, that's what ecosystems evolved to do, is harvest nutrients to create new life.
Okay, so this another one.
Let's talk about the different stages of human decomposition. Welcome to Death Science. Okay, this is cadaver 138, a good example of stage 1, autolysis, and stage 2, bloat.
Stage 1, autolysis, occurs immediately at death after the heart stops and breathing stops. Since carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and other gases in the deceased are trapped inside the body, it creates an acidic environment which breaks down cells and releases enzymes. This all kicks off the decomposition process, generally within the first 3 days. Stage 2, bloat, or you could also call it early decay. Hungry bacteria, microbes, and enzymes create gases. The buildup of gases in the body make it bloat and expand to like twice its size sometimes. Those gases contain sulfur, which contribute to skin discoloration. And this putrefaction begins to produce some really awful smells. This stage is generally between 2 to 3 days after death. Stage 3, active decay. Expect the soft tissue, organs, muscles, and the skin to liquefy. Once liquids begin to leak out the orifices, this generally indicates active decay. Most of the body's mass is lost at this stage. Depending on the season, you'll notice flies and beetles eat the soft remains, moth larvae and mites eat the hair, and the environment may also allow for additional hungry critters like scavengers or unfed pets. Stage 4, advanced decay. At this stage, really the only thing that's left is generally some hair, maybe some cartilage, ligaments, residues, and bones. And finally, stage 5, skeletonization. This is the final stage of decomposition, and it's pretty much when the only thing that's left are the bones. Or in some instances, when it's a very dry environment, it's when the body is fully mummified. Understand the environments play an essential factor on decomposition and rates of decay. Now, if you want to support Death Science and get some secret behind-the-scenes looks, you could join us on Patreon at
This is a fake one. Last one, this is a fake one, not the real one. Previously, it's a real one. This is you can see the finger here, not this one. This is not dead body. So previous is a dead body, all right? So the first stage will be, after 2 days, 3 days will be bloated. Yeah. Okay. Then, yeah. The best one I think is, you can see the previous one. Okay, anyway, I put in the asubha day, in the down day, there's a link. So if you want to look at it, but most people don't want to look at this one because it doesn't look nice. So this practice is not something that people want to do because why? It's not that appetizing. Okay. Okay. So anyway, okay. So according to the Pali, so the first one you can see mentioned just now, you have the bloated. Because of due to gas release, it will be blotted out. Sometime after that, there will be sulfur color, then it will be like purple color. Then festering means that the worms, the worms coming out, then they will be cut out. So this is talking about animals come and chew it, they will cut out, they'll grow, they will be scattered and so on, bleeding, worm infested and so on. After that, finally will be skeleton. Okay. And in the Visuddhimagga, one thing about it, it mentions about how you get it. All right. So here I put the paragraph here. So paragraph 12, paragraph 13, 14, 15, 17, 24, 26, and so on. All right. So first one, approach the meditation teacher to get a meditation object or subject. Right. Then after that, don't go there immediately, even though it's suitable. You need to check if the place is suitable. If the place is wild beasts, so if you have many tigers or whatever, you cannot go there, right? And if the corpse is opposite sex, so if a male, they look at the female corpse. If it's still fresh, yeah, they might have sexual lust or whatever, sensual sexual lust, so it's not suitable. So after that, don't go. You need to get permission from elders, ask the permission, and inform them that you are going. So in case something happened to you, so at least people know that you are going there for your practice. Okay, then you need to go there. When you go there, you must remember how you go there. When you pass through the gate and so on. Then when you find the corpse, you need to stand at a suitable place. Because it's too near, you can get the smell of the corpse. Then you cannot get any concentration. All right. But if your body smell might disturb other beings because there might be some other beings there. So you need to stand at a place where you are somewhere near the corpse, but it should not be too near, right? Because it's too far, you cannot see. Too near, you also will get scary because it's very ugly. So you need to stand somewhere where you can see it. Say it's supposed to be middle of the body. So where you can see the whole body, but also you need to remember the surroundings. Okay, so later I explain that why you need to see the surrounding. So after that, you need to apprehend the characteristic of the corpse. There's a paragraph 35 by the color, right? What is the color? Yellow, dark, or white due to the skin color. By the mark, is it the young one, the middle, or old one? By the shape, the head, the belly, the hand. By direction, means upper direction from the belly to the head. Downward direction from below the belly. By the location, where's the hand face, where's the location, the hand and legs and so on. And then the delimitation means on the top is the hair, below is the sole of the feet, surrounded by the skin. So inside 32 parts. So if the sign does not appear again, so you should apprehend again in more detail, right? By the joints, 3 joints on arms and so on. By openings between the legs, armpit, by the concavities, the eye socket and so on. And then by the raised place, like the knee and forehead. and define the body all around. All right. So this is if you first you look at it and the sign appears, so you should look at it. All these are more in detail. Okay, right. So you should look at first. What you do is like the kasina. First, open the eyes and look at it hundreds and thousands times, and your mind just remember asubha, asubha, repulsive, repulsive, repulsive of the bloated or okay, and so on. Then after that, when you close your eyes, you also should think about the mind, the image you saw. Okay. Right. So if he closed the eyes, he recall in the mind, so we call it learning sign, right? So whether he opened the eyes and closed the eyes, so even he closed the eye, he can remember it, so we call it learning sign or grasp sign. So after that, when he already remember it properly, then if he cannot continue his meditation there, he can go back already, right? Then he should define the path he comes back, right? Then he go to a monastery, he should sit or walk in the direction of foulness, means facing the place, the meditation object just now, the corpse there, right? Then after that, now why did he need to remembering the surrounding? Like just now when he go to see the corpse, he need to remember how he goes, he follow the which path and so on, right? And even if he sit near the corpse, he look at the corpse, he also need to see the surrounding, because to reduce the confusion and to increase mindfulness. Because if he just look at the corpse, and he might get very frightened. Why? Because the object is actually very frightened. But if you look at the surrounding, then he remember, okay, the corpse is in the middle of a certain place. So it's not so frightening. And also be careful, should not go in wrong time. Wrong time means maybe at the night time and so on. Because at the night time, the corpse will look very frightening and he might think about the ghost and so on. So he should ever to the sign, bring to the mind again and again, strike with the vittaka vichara. Okay? So when he recall the sign again and again in the mind, so the counterpart sign will arise. Now this is important. The learning sign, the one he grabs with the mind, so should be exactly like the corpse outside. The one he says should be hideous, dreadful, frightening sight. But the counterpart sign appear, it just look like a man lying down, big limbs lying down. So it look not so scary. It look more beautiful. So at that point, the five hindrances are subdued. So he can get access concentration. So after that, he practice, he can, for this asubha, he can get only first jhana. But even though the object is still repulsive, but it can give him joy and happiness, because it's a meditation object for him and the mind love it, so it can still give him piti sukha. Okay, that's a first method. Now, paragraph 78 say, for other state of corpse, this means that you should practice, let's say the first one he see is a bloated. So after he see bloated, then when successfully, then he should practice the other 9. Right? So when he's successful on the first stage, he should practice on second stage, third stage, fourth stage, fifth stage, using the same method. He go there, look at it again, after they come back and practice again. All right. Now, even though he practiced for these 10 kinds of asubha, but characteristic is only one kind: impure, stinking, disgusting, repulsive state. All right. So not only on the dead body, but like the elder Mahatissa or novice attendant while watching the king riding the elephant, right? Because when he practiced before in his previous life, even though he saw a living person, he also can see the asubha. Okay, now then this part will be the conclusion, all right? And so on. Okay, now this conclusion is good because we can see how the commentator, Buddhaghosa, he read about how we should see the body. Okay, invite somebody to read. Sister Li Guango. Yeah, 89. Yes.
Okay. This is the body nature. It is a collection of over 300 bones, jointed by 180 joints, bound together by 900 C9, plastered over with 900 pieces of flesh, embedded in the moist inner skin, enclosed in the outer cuticle, with orifice here and there, constantly dribbling and trickling like a great pot, inhabited by a community of worms, the home of disease, the basis of painful state, perpetually oozing from the night. Orifices like a chronic open carbuncle from both of whose eye trickles, from whose ear, from ear fowl, from whose nostril snot, from whose mouth foot and bill and phlegm and blood, from whose lower outlet excrement and urine, and from whose 99,000 pores the broods of sweat sip with blue bottle and their light buzzing around it, which when untended with toothstick, mouth-washing and head anointing and bathing and underclothing and dressing wool, judged by a universal repulsiveness of the body, make even a king if he wander from village to village with his hair in its nature wild disorder, no different from a flower scavenger or a outcast or what you will. So there is no distinction between a kin body and an outcast insofar as its impure, sticking, nauseating repulsiveness is concerned.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, do you think you like to practice this one?
Definitely no.
It also not
It's
easy.
so awful.
All right. So this is a body nature. See, now you can say 300 bones. You see, ancient people, they also know how many 180 joints. You can see the ancient people, they are so knowledgeable about how many joints we have. 900 sinews, 900 flesh. So it's talking about human body part. Yeah, all this. The main thing is orifice, holes come out, the watery things come out from the body. All right. And then the worms, bacteria, and so on. And then they'll come out, it will be filth, dirty things come out. And then also from the pores, 99,000 pores, the sweat come out. So this part is talking about 32 body parts, all right? 32 body parts. So the earlier one will be talking about the corpse contemplation. Okay. So for the practice, first you practice on the bloated one. Then after a few days, don't wait too long. If you wait too long, because the corpse will decompose very fast. So after the bloated, then the next stage you have to go and see. Don't wait too long. After that will be festering and so on. Okay. Now, main thing is you need to follow the instruction here. First, get the object and go to place, check with the suitable. And then must tell people you are going there. Then when you go there, you must remember how you go there. In case, there's also another reason. In case you go there, you see the corpse, you don't like it and you want to come back. So make sure you don't lose the way. Because when you see the corpse, you get so scary, you might forget the way to come back. So you must have mindfulness. Before you go there, must remember how you go. Right? That's important also. And when you see there, stand at a suitable place. Not too near, not too far. Right? Because too near the corpse actually very smelly. Even like here, sometimes when the lizard, yesterday when we closed the window, the lizard was trapped there. So the place was very smelly. We cannot find where's the smell. So after a while, okay, oh, the lizard was there, or the mouse. Yeah. So the smell is very strong. That's the reason here. And not too far, not too near. So you stand at the middle of the body where you can see the whole body, but maybe not too close also. So you must remember the wordings. Because sometimes people, according to a book, I think maybe next week we can go through some of the important point. Because when if they don't remember the surroundings, so they might get frightened. Because sometimes they might imagine the corpse move by itself, Yeah. But sometimes it's true. Why the corpse move? Because of the gas inside the body. Sometimes the corpse look like it's going to be expanded by itself. Or there's certain part of the body due to the four great elements, it look like shakeable by itself. So people might thought that the corpse come to alive. Okay. Anyway, this is something that we can do. I think that's enough for today. All right, so we share the merits. Right, so if any of you want to practice, most welcome. Okay, now normally we talk about the asubha. Okay, so this is the normal chanting for asubha. Yeah, I think we can chant now. Put the hand together. Ayam ko me kayo udam padatala ado kesa mataka tacha pariyanto puranana pakarasa asuchino ati ima samingkaye kesa loma naka danta tacho mamsam nalu ati mijam wakam hadayam yakanam kilomakam pipakam papasam antam andagunam udariyam kalisam matalukam pitam seham pubo lohitam sedo medo asu wasa kilo singanika lasika mutam evam meyam mekayo udam padatala ado kisa mataka tacha pariyanto puranana pakarasa asuchino. Such is this body of mine, from the soles of the feet onwards, from the crown of the head downwards, surrounded by the skin, filled with all sort of unclean things. So actually it's true. So once you take out the skin, all these 32 body parts appear as unclean, asubha. Okay. All right, so we share the merits. Yeah. Okay. Imano puļavakaṃ sabba satanam dema. Imano puļavakaṃ sabba satanam dema. Imano puļavakaṃ sabba satanam dema. Sharing merits with the departed one. Idam no yatina hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idam no yatina hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idam no yatina hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Aggācāra uddhumātakaṃ dewa naga mahittika punyam tam anumoditva cirarakantu sasanam. Aggācāra uddhumātakaṃ dewa naga mahittika punyam tam anumoditva cirarakantu desanam. Aggācāra ca bummata devanaga mahitika punyam tam anumotitva chirarakantu mamparamti. Arurarogya sampati saga sampati mevacha adonibana sampati imena te samijatu. Devo vasatu kayena sasa sampati hotu cha pito bhavatu loko cha raja bhavatu dhammiko. Making expression. Hadai maya patipataya jaramaranamha parimuchisami idam me punyam asawakayam waham hotu idam me punyam nibbana sapacayo hotu idam me silam Magapalanyana sapacayo hotu. Imina punya kamena mame bala samagamo satam samagamo hotu yavanipana patiya. Buddha sasanam chiram titatu. Buddha sasanam chiram titatu. Buddha sasanam chiram titatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. Thank you for joining this class. Okay.
Thank you.